preparing this. And here we go. Okay, Mahmoud, you can start.
All right. Thank you. I'd like to thank everybody. Uh, and I'd like also to say thank you to all the folks who've been waiting in the chat and hanging around beforehand. So thank you. I'm so excited to deliver this webinar with you guys. This is the first time to talk about teacherpreneurship. And I'm so excited just to navigate this field in education with you guys, and hopefully you can learn and benefit from today's webinar and learn some basics on how to become a teacherpreneur. So in order to talk about teacherpreneurship, we need first to identify or come across the definitions for the term teacherpreneur. Who is a teacherpreneur? This is a very valid question that we might start with. In order to actually answer this, we need first to learn more about entrepreneurship. So the word teacherpreneurship is a combination of two words, teaching and entrepreneurship. Let me assume that most of you are educators or teachers. So let's skip the first term and go over the second term. What do you think entrepreneurship is? I'm sure that you might come across this term, especially in the past 2 or 3 years, ever since COVID-19 started, and we started to, watch a lot of videos that talk about how you can start your own business. And this is the core definition or the core concept of entrepreneurship, is that you can set up your own business, okay, in the hope of making profit. So any self-made business, any activity that you're willing to do to set up your own business or enterprise just to make profit, this is what we call entrepreneurship. So now I think it's getting more clearer for you that teacherpreneur who's a teacher who's actually trying or just started to set up his own business. So you can come across different definitions. We have tons of definitions that define or describe the word teacherpreneur. So the term itself emerged in early 2010, but however, it's getting more popular. And we started to come across and hear the term very often, especially in the past few years. So this is actually one of the, you can consider it one of its, in its simplest form. This is how we can define a teacherpreneur. So he's just like an educator who works a flexible and or a freelance schedule, or an educator with a side hustle that supplements their income. This is one of the most common definitions, and let's say a very basic definition that is easier to grasp. So if you're a regular, full-time teacher, and you are considering other ways to generate more income and just to, to make other side profits, what we call side hustles, now you are a teacherpreneur because you are combining of two things, your job as a teacher and like a second or other job as a boss. So you become actually your own boss. So this is what we call, or this is actually the very definition of a teacherpreneur. However, in order to understand and delve into teacherpreneurship, we need a beginning, because I believe that every phenomenon, okay, has a beginning. And the very beginning of teacherpreneurship, as I said, the term was popular around 2010. Yet we don't have clear and succinct data of who had first coined this term. But let's say that the term has become more popular and well spread in the early 2020. Why is that? So here, this is the very beginning, the pandemic. So ever since the pandemic and the lockdowns started in early 2020, this has drastically changed the course of education. And because when I say we, I mean as teachers, so we had to adapt to a complete virtual system. We had to completely shift to virtual learning with asynchronous and synchronous instruction. We have we lost contact with parents, with like policymakers. We lost contact with our students. It was really a critical error for teachers and complete change. So having dealt with unprecedented ways in education, in the traditional education system, actually get this kind of pressure teachers, and a lot of surveys and data, you can research this, that ever since the COVID-19 occurred, majority of teachers across the world, a lot of studies, a lot of surveys report these results that I'm about to share with you, have suffered from ongoing job stress. You can actually, this is actually one of the quotes I got from the Journal of Global Health. I want you to read it. So decreased physical activity, loss of tutor time, and increased screen time through virtual. I can't read it because of some of the notification bars. So through virtual learning, social or digital media can adversely affect mental health. So this is with like kind of the current phenomenon, or what most of the teachers have suffered from, that kind of the stress, the ongoing stress, and the loss of communication with parents, colleagues, and all this almost a year just sitting home and teaching. That was a very, very, I would say, a difficult time episode for all teachers. So I want you to take a look here at this bar chart here. So this graph actually, this data you can see on the graph was collected in 2000 and like in two different timings. So in March 2020 and March 21. So here the teacher were asked to the best of their knowledge about the chance from 0 to 100 within the next 5 years. So the question is to explore more of teachers' intentions and tendencies to leave, for those who are considering a complete retirement or just quitting the teaching profession. So if you can notice that in March 21, the number has climbed by approximately around 30%. So this means that we have a proportion, or a higher proportion, of teachers who have been reported to consider leaving from teaching profession or just considering retirement. So this actually, unfortunately, we don't have, let's say, much data and results collected from, or any experiments or surveyed that have been conducted in Egypt or around the Middle East or North Africa. This one is based in UK. However, this can give us some insight on the mental status for teachers, or let's say the plans that teachers would think of during the pandemic. So I'm suggesting that, back to that. So this is not the scope of our topic. However, it has a profound significance to all teachers, because I'm suggesting that we have a positive correlation between the number of teachers in the pandemic or post-pandemic who were seriously intending to leave or considering retirement or leaving their profession, and the number of teachers who are thinking of setting up or starting their own business, becoming more self-employed. So I want to ask you a question, and you're free to say yes, or I don't know, raise a hand. Probably it's a good idea. So I'm going to ask you 3 to 4 questions, and I want you to raise a hand if your answer is yes. Okay. So have you ever felt unappreciated at work? So have you ever felt unappreciated by your manager? Okay. Number 2, I want to ask this question. So have you ever experienced any levels of burnout at some point on an average working day? Again, have you ever experienced any burnout at some point during your job? Okay, number 3, have you ever considered starting your own business? Have you ever considered starting your own business, or like thinking of doing any like inside hustle just to like make more income for yourself? So I would say that probably those who have raised a hand, okay, and said yes to the first 2 questions have higher probability to say yes on the third question. So if you have said yes, and yes, you have experienced some of, like any of the, like the career tensions, or I'm sorry, I want to pin my video so that it's become on the list. So if you have said yes, and yes, you have experienced, if you were like burnt out before, if you had any tensions or ongoing tensions because of the teaching profession, and you were considering to start your own business, so I'm going to say welcome on board. Now you have the tendency to become a teacherpreneur. Maybe you have absolutely the opportunity and the option to like sustain or maintain your regular job, 9 to 5 job as a teacher in a school or a university or a college, doesn't matter, and starting your own business like in a parallel way, right? So I just want to raise this question: how can I become like a teacherpreneur? How can I become a teacherpreneur? Let me tell you that I myself, I'm a teacherpreneur. However, I didn't realize that the teacherpreneur term exists until I had published some of the educational videos on social media platform. And I thought, I don't know what to call myself, a teacher, but just also sharing some of the important and nice information with everyone, probably with my colleagues online. So, and actually I started to earn money and get myself more income. So I didn't realize how can I, what to call myself, like social media influencer, like a content creator. I'm creating content and publishing videos. Yes, I was able actually to attract over 1 million followers post-pandemic in 2021. So I was just like you, that I was just like you, thinking of quitting my job. I don't like the ongoing job stress and etc. That's why I was publishing a content just as a matter of reaching out for more people, and like for more audiences. So my video is keep just like getting down the list. But hopefully if you can help me more with that, I just want to pin my video just to be on the top of the list. Okay, so now let's get to this question: how can you become a teacherpreneur? It's a very good question to start with. So we're going to, I'll be talking about three important or three key things that you need to consider in order to become a teacherpreneur. Number one, that this is so key, very important. You need to change your mindset. So changing your mindset actually pertains to the narrative that you keep using to tell yourself that you are incapable of doing your own business. Because probably most of the teachers think that they're incapable of doing so. This is kind of like a narrative you've been telling yourself so, and this is the first thing you need to tackle. So in order to change your mindset into, or in order to get a growth mindset, you probably need to keep telling yourself and feeding your subconscious that you are capable. I understand that most of you, when we say you got to start your own business, probably the first thing you'll think of, I can't. I'm very committed to my work. A lot of things to do. I'm like burdened and a lot of tensions over my shoulder, and I can't do it. I don't have the time. Plus, you can, bring up more of the failed stories, or like those who started to do their own business and they started shut them down for a reason. However, let me tell you that if you started to, probably follow some of the experts and those who can talk on leadership or entrepreneurship, I'm pretty sure that you'll be able to change your mindset. So let me recommend one of the guys that you should follow if you want to understand more about leadership and entrepreneurship. It will open up your mind to the way you have structured your professional life. It will help you to reconstruct your goals in life, and it will help you become more financially independent. And this is actually the fundamental goal of teacherpreneurship, is to help our teachers become more financially independent. This is actually the core objective of teacherpreneurship. So when you change to a growth mindset, and as I told you, I'm sorry about forgot the guy's name is Simon Sinek. I'm gonna type in his name. So sorry, I didn't wrote it down on the slide. So Simon Sinek. Okay, this is a guy you need to follow. He has read like over 5 books. You can start with start with why. Okay, this is a very book you need to read in order to learn about leadership, in order to know about your potential, in order to discover yourself as a leader. Because you're not going to lead other people. The leadership here is to lead your potential and your hidden capabilities. You need to explore yourself. So you're taking an account of yourself. You're taking an accountability of yourself because you are exposed to different audiences and you're exposed to different atmosphere, like other than the 9-to-5 working environment. Okay, so this is the first thing you do. You got to change your mindset. Number 2, you got to find your zone of excellence. So when I say zone of excellence, I mean you need to crave out your niche. So I understand this is not the zone of competence. I understand as a teacher, you're dedicated, you're committed, and you're competent. I understand that the majority of us as teachers possess the 3 qualities or 3 personal traits. So you're disciplined, you're committed, and you're passionate as well. But when I say zone of excellence, I want you to think of some of the skills that you possess or you can work on that make you distinguished from other teachers. some of the unique things that you can yourself do and make you excellent. You make sure that you're super competent at, and you're making sure that nobody else can quite do it like you. In order to find out your zone of excellence, you need first, and this is, mark my word, this is a very common saying in like that most businessmen and most entrepreneurs know. Copy paste, then innovate. So you gotta first do just like what other teacherpreneurs do. I'll help you with some of the websites and the resources that you can use and to see what teacherpreneurs are doing and how they earn like extra money, just like besides their regular job and the salary they're getting paid from their school. All right. So in order to find this zone, you gotta first see what other teacherpreneurs are doing, and you should walk their path. So first, you need a starting point. So whether it's publishing on social media, whether it's like registering and probably filling in your data on one of the websites that recruit teachers, you can sell digital products, you can think and create materials, and you can sell them online. So I'm gonna go through all these steps that help you earn more money. But first, this is the I'll have to go and jump to number 3. Become consistent. So you can't be a teacherpreneur if you're not consistent. And with consistency means reaching out for your goals, always trying to accomplish a certain goal. You can't accomplish your goals without consistency. So consistency here is no matter the idea that you will work on, in order to become a consistent teacherpreneur, you need to pick up one idea, because I understand that whenever we address such a topic and we think of teacherpreneurs, yes, tons of ideas, like tens of ideas can hit your mind, and you're probably thinking of, wow, so I'm gonna be a content creator, or I'm gonna create a course. Maybe I'm going to be like a private tutor, online private tutor, and register with one of the global websites, and maybe I can get hired. So a lot of ideas, but my advice for you is to choose one idea. I'd like you to choose one idea and start to work on it. And Dr. Ron, just you raised the hand, probably you have a question or you have something to add? Okay. All right, so let's get back. So here, I was saying that, yeah, you need to become consistent with one idea. So pick an idea and work on it at a time. Do not initiate or do not delve yourself into more ideas. I just want you to pick one idea. Yes, I think I see myself excelling at probably like publishing content on YouTube, or maybe like Instagram, or maybe promoting myself as a private tutor on this website. Choose one idea and be consistent with it. This is the third key point that you need to understand and you need to work on if you ever want to be a teacherpreneur. So now this is actually, I'd like to share with you some of the resources that might help you as a teacherpreneur. So if you ever want to publish content on social media, this is the most free platform that used by teacherpreneurs, according to statistics, in Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. So if you're going to pick one of the social media platforms and start to publishing content, I want you to think of this. Your goal is to share value with your colleagues and with audiences. I want you to think of the reward later. I want you to think of making profit later. It'll come. Don't worry. It'll come. First thing I want you to think, once you have decided to become a entrepreneur, you've got to have the key traits and qualities of entrepreneurs. So entrepreneurs are patient. You got to be patient with the results. So you can't start publishing content on Monday and you're expecting to earn some money by Friday. It's not going to happen. So you got to be patient. You got to serve people first, and then you will be rewarded later. So first thing you consider it as a teacher, you have some values, you have like great knowledge that you want to simplify and share this knowledge with, like, like with all audiences and attract more learners. This is the first thing you do. So this is one of actually look at this graph. I'd like to share. This is very important data that I would like to show you. So this data collected was collected by apt.eg and another magazine, which is NDR Education. So they conducted a survey in 2022, this based in the US, to find the average, okay, the percentage of active users on Instagram, and they have found the following: 82% of average teachers are active on Instagram. So an average teacher would spend 15 to 60 minutes a day on Instagram scrolling. So I'm talking about the time spent on Instagram by active users. We're not talking about publishing content, just we're talking about scrolling Instagram as a user. 68% of users are moms and 65% from Generation Z, those who were born in the 90s. So this data can give you some insight on how Instagram, or how important Instagram in the next few years, because it's a hub for you as a teacher. You can publish content and share your knowledge because you have moms and teenagers around you. So this is a very context or environment of education. So when you are in the classroom, you're a teacher, right? So what is a teacher? So you're directing your lessons to whom? So to the students, right? And eventually, who's following up on the students' academic performance? Moms, so parents, right? So this is kind of all the people you need in order for learning to occur. You can have them on social media as well. So you can teach information, deliver like whatever the knowledge you want to share, okay? And you will have the teenagers or the students, okay, that can listen to you. And also you have the parents who can have an eyes on the knowledge that you're sharing. So this, to be honest, is changing the entire educational system. So with the growth of applications and the edtech world and how rapidly and exponentially growing, I'm suggesting that the entire educational systems need to change and address this rapid growth of social media platforms and the high tech apps that that help teachers, that attract teachers and attract learners just to be together in kind of a room. So it's kind of like this is a parallel classes that are happening on social media. So this is actually, I'd like to call your attention to the necessity that you need to think of becoming how to become a teacherpreneur using the data that I'm sharing with you. So I'm going to share with you also some. I just want to be, like into the point. I don't want to prolong this. So in order, these actually could be a very, very beneficial and useful websites for you. So Teachers Pay Teachers is a great website where you can sell your genuine materials. So you can create your own materials and you can sell them. So they're all digital copies. So you can, let's say you have created a magazine or like an exercise for ESL students. So you can actually pay this as a digital copy on this website. Amazing website for you to start becoming a teacher, start becoming teacherpreneur. So the second website here is Udemy. You can think of creating your own course. So you can film yourself while teaching a topic in whatever the field of education, whatever the topic or the subject. And you can actually upload the course in Udemy and you can learn a lot of business tips and strategies on how you can sell your course in Udemy. So this is another channel for generating passive income. You need to consider so. So, and number three, freelancer, and number four, Upwork. So the third and the fourth website can help you promoting or branding yourself as a tutor. So you can get hired from freelancer or Upwork. So a lot of learners can contact you and book like a learning session when you and book some private sessions, whether online, probably going to be online since you're the majority of you are based in Egypt. But a lot of people can reach out for you and book private tutoring. So you can decide, let's say you can decide the rate that you'd like to get paid. So it's up to you. You can publish your own bio and share your professional background. It'll help you a lot to market and promote yourself. So these are the websites that you can consider if you're not considering social media and publishing content. So you can still do some freelancing on these websites. So that's it. I didn't prolong. I don't know how much I spent, but hopefully you're not bored. And this is into the point, and it was kind of like a webinar that navigates the basics of teacherpreneurship with some of the helpful resources. Now, I'll be very happy to take any questions.
Well, thank you, Mahmoud. Again, this is a wonderful topic and definitely a lot of things to, think about, food for thought. I'd like to ask you to quit sharing your screen so we can create some dialogue with the audience here.
Sure.
And also with you.
Okay. So
just quit sharing screens.
This one.
All of them. Just close your screen there. Just
okay. Sorry. Yes. Okay. I thought you want.
Okay, good. Well, for those of you here today, again, we're talking about a really interesting topic. And I'd like to just add here on a personal note that I started working as an independent freelancer at the age of 28. And I do not hide my age. I am 64 years old and have been working the most of my life as a teacherpreneur, edupreneur, whatever you want to call that. And Mahmoud and I were having a talk before this started. And Mahmoud said that he just was instinctively, just naturally a teacherpreneur. So my first question to you before I make any summaries, Mahmoud, is how did you come to the idea or how did you have this feeling that this is you, this is what you wanted to do? I mean, there has to be a sort of awakening, the light bulb goes off in your head. It doesn't have to be burnout or anything like that, but something inside of you said to you, this is what you wanted to do. What was it?
That's a very, very good question, Ron. Because, just like any other teacher. So I was, let's not talk about the burdens or just kind of like the emotional status we were having just, or we were during the pandemic. But I'm going to take it from the moment, as you've said, that there is always kind of like quiet in the inner feeling or inner whispering that it keeps telling you and passing you ideas. So, and actually, when I have any talk, when I go through any conversations with my colleagues, so when I ask them, have you ever thought of, like publishing content or doing something other than the regular teaching job? And they think, yes, we have imagined, we have, at some point, we have visualized ourselves, but for a reason, we said, no, we can't do that. So I was living through this conflict between what I'm actually doing, what I actually do is teaching on a college level. I don't have time, the teacher, the very typical persona of a teacher, very pressured, a lot of corrections to do, a lot of exam preparation, and it's very noisy and very, like fast-paced life, right?
Mhm.
So, and I was able, Ron, for the first time to listen to these inner thoughts and follow my instinct. And something was telling me, yes, you can do something differently. You can, because in essence, we want to help people. We want to help out human beings. When you are a teacher, you are manifesting humanity. You want to educate other people. So, and I told myself, I can help those who feel bored and have nothing to do in the pandemic for days and months sitting. And I told myself, I'm gonna shoot the first video. It took me 3 days in a row. I'm not convinced because I'm listening again. I'm listening to the logical mind that I have and the mindset and the narrative that the teacher can't do anything other than teacher. So I'm not gonna do. I'm bad. I'm terrible. I look terrible. I'm not convinced that I can shoot videos and be on social media. And then I did the first thing and I clicked post. No matter the dark background that I had, no matter the poor lighting, no matter the bad looking that I was picturing myself, I was able to collect the first 4 comments and 5 views. So for some people, they think, well, 5 views, I'm not gonna do it. Like $5, this is not a side hustle. I'm not considering. But this was the beginning. This was the start. This was the beginning of the light coming into your life. And I started.
So, would you say that? You weren't afraid to take risk?
Yes, this is a red. Thank you. So, in the hope of not earning money, in the hope of becoming more successful into doing so, in the hope of finding more my potential, in the hope of exploring a new world. When you publish, when you teach a lesson to 20 students, to like 20 students in a class, this is an experience. And this experience can be perpetuated or repeated across or throughout the academic year. But when you teach the same topic to like 15 or 20 grown-ups or like engineers in somewhere else, and like let's say you're teaching the same topic, if you're gonna teach them like in Africa, like it's different. You're different. You're exploring yourself in different ways.
So again, I would say, putting that into a nutshell, would you say that you wanted to explore your full potential, that you felt that you were not really reaching your full potential in what you were doing?
Yes, or let's say you have reached to the maximum in your job, in your profession, where you can, like at some point you experience boredom or you experience a point where you can't leverage or gauge any like skills, and you believe also you should have this belief that there are other worlds behind the classroom that
Oh,
you want to
definitely. Definitely. I think I probably played about 30 of those different roles. Yeah, in my career.
yeah
I'd like to summarize some of the things that you said, and would like to start at the, how you sort of gave a definition of a teacherpreneurship, which we can also call edupreneurship.
yes
Because you are a teacher. That is who you are as a person, how you see that as your occupation, your job, your career. Teaching is what brings money to the bank account. Okay, but again, being a teacher and then wanting to be what my nephew told me about 35 years ago. He goes, he goes, that you're a free agent. He goes, I like that you're a free agent. And he didn't know, he was young. He didn't know what that really meant. Because when do you really become a free agent? And, there is a difference between being a freelancer, somebody who can make your own schedule, work when you want to, and are you really the boss? And that is one thing that you have to accept when you become a freelancer, because there's a difference between a freelance teacher and a real edupreneur. And what is that difference? And that difference is, and I always tell people that, who negotiated the contract? Are you just fulfilling somebody's contract at a language school, at a university? Did you negotiate that contract with the person who's paying you? And if the answer is yes, then you probably are an independent free agent, and you call the shots. You're the boss. But if you didn't negotiate that contract and you're just fulfilling somebody else's contract, you're just a freelancer. So there is a legal difference between that. And I live in Germany. There are cultural differences, but there are also legal differences that do need to be taken into consideration. So I just wanted to point that out too, because remember, you become a free agent, you become an independent when you negotiated the contract with the company that's paying. Okay. If you didn't, you're just a freelancer working independently for different providers.
yes
You mentioned something about people, this is a new thing. Well, I have to add that, the gig economy is not new, and teacherpreneurs fall into what's a gig economy. And, people want to work independently. They want to work free from stress. They want to work at home. This has been, going on for quite some time. And that's why a lot of people want to become, freelancers, because, they just want to, call the shots. They want to sort of be their own boss, work from home. That all falls into the gig economy. So if you don't know what the gig economy is and what kind of people really work in the gig economy, I would suggest that those of you in the audience today to Google that, because that's important. You need to understand what the gig economy is and how that's connected to teacherpreneurship and edupreneurship. Would like to say that before I go on with any more summaries and my idea from my experience of the skills that a teacherpreneur needs to bring to the table, Mahmoud, I would like to ask you to just quickly do some reflection, and I would like to ask you this question to lead into another summary here in dialogue, and that is, if you were to tell someone right now in our audience 5 skills that they need to have to be a successful, effective, freelance language teacher, what would those 5 skills be?
Wow, that's perfect. So actually, the first skill is to change your mindset.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta change your mind. So I would say this is one of the highly recommended skills for anyone, not a teacher, in order to succeed in this
Or in anything.
crazily, yes, growing high-tech with changes in the high-tech apps we've been surrounded with. You gotta change your mindset. Why? Because the model that most traditional schools or any entities were using in the 50s, 60s, wages up until the 90s does not work anymore, is no longer working. You gotta
Well,
change
that leads us into sort of a systems belief. But I think changing your mindset, or I think to put that into a nutshell, is believe in yourself. Believe that you
Exactly.
can do it, because that is mindset.
Yes,
you have to believe in yourself. So
yes,
that's the first one. What about a second, third, fourth, or fifth skill?
yes. The second is discipline. You gotta be like, for example, if I'm sick, if any one of my like family members is sick, and it coincides with the time of publishing a video, I reached the level that this is my routine. I have something to do every day, 12 like midnight or 12 noon, pick up at time, stick to it, stick to the routine and get it going. This actually will level up your skills. It will take you to the next level, because every day, you kind of all your dreams with all the many thoughts in your mind. I'm gonna do this, and you hit the gym. Like for a couple, because that's very common in the athlete community. They hit the gym every day, but they don't like to hit the gym every day. Why they're doing so? It's called discipline. So pick up like one idea, stick to it, and I want you to establish a discipline. You got to be disciplined, whatever you do.
And I'm going to put that into a nutshell by going back to almost 250-year-old idiom that Benjamin Franklin said in the United States, and that's early to bed, early to rise makes a man healthy, wealthy, and wise. And because that is discipline. Yeah. If you're running your own business, you've got to have a lot of discipline. Let's ask you one more time, one more skill that you say that a teacher needs to have to be an effective, successful teacherpreneur.
Is wow. So another, I would say that never compare yourself to others. Don't do that. Don't do that. The only valid comparison you need to do is to compare yourself to your former self. Mahmoud initially today versus Mahmoud initially yesterday. This is the only valid comparison you can do. This will take you to the next level. So,
well, on that one, I'm going to actually say something about that in just a minute, because Mo and I have had many conversations about this. But Mark, I'm going to ask if you're still in the room there. Mo, can you please, could you please do me a favor and start typing in the chat box? I'm going to quickly go through 12 things that I think that teachers need to be successful and be an effective freelance or edupreneur in this very, very competitive business. So number one, I would say that the number one skill you have to bring to the table if you want to be an effective teacherpreneur, you need to have C1 language skills. You need to have C1, okay? Because you're going to be in a very competitive business. So number one, Mo, write it in the chat box, C1 English language skills. You need to bring that to the table, because you're not going to be very effective and be able to sell yourself if you don't have that, okay? So number one, again, write that in the chat box, Mo, please. Okay, I'm kind of scrolling down here. Just write, please write number one, okay? C1 language skills need to be there. I'm living in Europe, and I want to tell you that no company's going to hire you in Europe. No school's going to hire you in Europe. No language school's going to hire you in Europe, okay? Now, going back to what our Mahmoud said, there is, don't be afraid if you're not a native speaker, because that goes with that, okay? Some of the best teachers I have met in my life were non-natives. So that should never stop you. Number two, know your market, okay? And that is know who are your competitors. Know who the people are that have language schools. This is important. So number two is know your market, okay? Please write that in the chat box. You got to know who's out there, who's doing business. What are they offering? This is part of doing any business, okay? You got to be out there and know what other people are offering, okay? Number three, okay, is you need to know how to market yourself, okay? This is really important, okay? Is you got to believe in yourself, but you also have to know, because if you're a business person, business is about making money and knowing how to market yourself. So that is very important. What are you going to tell customers? Why should they pay you? Why should they hire you? Why should they pay you for your services? So in other words, you need to know the market. And number three, excuse me, number four.
Number four.
Yeah, number four is, and here, number four is you need to have social media presence. Okay, Mahmoud, I'm sure you agree with that one. Okay, you must have social media presence because that's how companies check you out already. They want to see what you have on social media. And if you have a lot of personal information, pictures of your baby, and whatever and stuff like that, well, you know, their clients are going to see that and you might not want that, okay? So you need to
This doesn't work, Ron, you know?
Yeah.
This doesn't work because I think I've always thought that what's personal needs to be kept personal.
Definitely.
Yeah.
This is not, if you're a teacherpreneur, you need to scrub your social media pages. You need to keep them clean and they need to look professional. And no personal businesses, a business, pictures of your children swimming on the beach or whatever. This is very personal and companies make decisions like that. And if you want corporate clients, you're not going to get them. Okay, so I want to just say right there, number four is clean up your social media presence. You need to have social media presence and clean it up. That means scrubbing your social media sites. Number five, if you're going to be a teacherpreneur and you're going to be doing business, you definitely need to know how to write a contract. Okay, so you better Google that. And how do you write a contract? Because if you're doing business with people, you're the one negotiating the contracts. What does the contract look like? What are the terms of business? You got to know that, okay, because that's going to separate you from just anybody else who's just offering their services to some provider. If you truly are an independent and freelance teacher, you definitely want to know how to write a contract. Number six is you need to know your USP. And what does USP mean? Your unique selling point. What do you do differently or better than someone else? So know what is your unique selling point. That's number six. Know your unique selling point. Okay.
Okay, Ron. I think we can keep telling the people about this, but you know, Mahmoud has another commitment that he's
Sure.
asking me right now.
Okay.
Yeah, so yes,
yes,
thanks a lot for joining us today. It was
Ron, I'm
an honor.
enjoying your tips to the max, and I'm pretty sure we're gonna have like some time where we can meet and learn a lot and
Definitely.
Thanks a lot. Thank you.
Thank you, Mahmoud, for being
Thank you,
here
Mahmoud.
today.
Thank you. Thank you all. And I hope to see all of you on social media.
But Mahmoud, before you leave, okay, because someone was asking you a question here. Just one question, a quick question. Her name is Amira Sirajuddin. Amira, could you please? Yeah. She's here right
hello?
now. Yeah. Okay.
Hello, Amira.
Hello.
Actually, this is the first time that I am in a Zoom meeting with a native speaker, so I'm so happy. Actually, I want to ask Mr. Mahmoud, About to be a teacherpreneur. I see nowadays many teachers on social media that are not perfect. They not just they publish tips, a very simple tips. So to be a teacherpreneur, you have to be perfect or not.
Perfect. I love such a question. Such perfect question.
Thank you.
Amira, thank you. You know, Amira, the very mistake that the majority of teachers do is watching and judging the content around you. So yes, people are not perfect, and they share very basic and simple tips that you even make just that makes you completely shocked. Why do you think why they're doing so? Such basic and very simple information. Anyone can look it up, right? However,
Yeah.
let me assure you that there are hundreds of thousands of people who are not aware about these basics. So those teacherpreneurs or entrepreneurs, as just Ron labeled them, actually was sending the message to the right people. And it coincides that you were in the middle trying to decipher this message going, you know, like in and out. So we are talking to some audiences that is not, you're not one of these audiences. So the problem is that we picture and we position ourselves in just an audience, and you think that this message is not for you. Of course, it's not for you. So one of the fallacy or one of the notions that the teachers, let's say the regular teachers who are not in the scope or not in the field of the business of, you know, like earning money online or just doing any side hustle, they're waiting. Oh, so such choppy, and this is really simple and basic. I'm not going to do this. Actually, you might do advanced and address different audiences. So I just want to tell you that this is fine, absolutely fine. What is your question? Actually, you're telling me the information, but Amira, what is exactly you want to do?
Okay. My exact question that to start, you must be perfect or not?
Perfect in what, Mira? Perfect in English or perfect in marketing?
That's a very valid question.
Both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I want to tell you that native speakers, Amira, are not always the best teachers.
I think you're native?
I'm an American, and I've lived in Europe for most of my life, but I will tell you that even native speakers make grammar mistakes. Even native speakers sometimes have pronunciation and accents that are sometimes not really good. So you got to be careful, because in the end, it's the customer who makes the decision of whether they're going to buy your services or not. And a lot of that depends on your personality. And a lot of times it depends on how you sell yourself. So being perfect, would you say, like, I'm taking it perfect in English, but I just want to say that native speakers are not perfect. Okay.
I need to add something here, because, native speakers are also humans, they are also human beings. So I think the way I see things here is that it's not about perfectionism. It's about, how much progress they are making, what their target audience is, because, some beginner teachers need this basic information. Some other teachers are looking for more advanced type of tips, what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it's not about being perfect, if you scroll, one of the famous celebrities, of our ELT career here in Egypt, for example, Facebook pages, you will find that at the very beginning of their careers, they used to post some basic tips for teachers, for beginner teachers. Okay. And over time, they, gained some skills, they gained some more experience, and they started, selling their more services and more products and so on. Right, Mahmoud?
Yes. So thank you. I want to just build on what Ron and just Simone were trying to say. Amira, from my successful experiences and experiment on social media, you never get, that's okay. It's fine. Actually, it's very healthy to try to always to be perfect. However, you don't ever want to tell yourself that you are perfect.
Never.
Because believe me, you're never perfect. You're never ready, because you don't know what's you are about to explore. Let's say you are preparing your home studio for 1 year. Believe me, the first very video you will publish or shoot is going to be terrible. You'll hate yourself. So please, there is nothing called perfect. You want to start. And as I've said, just be consistent with one idea. Start your own thing. You will get to learn about yourself from the interests you are gauging throughout the process, okay? So you'll be able to identify your target audience. You'll be able to identify the type of information you want to share with people. You'll be able to find your zone of genius, all right? I'm sorry, I want to leave now. I have a session just to catch. Ron, this is a perfect moderation. You're great. Mo as well. I want to thank you guys.
Thank you
For having me, and see you. All right.
Thank you, Mo.
Sure.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Mahmoud.
Mo.
Thank
Thank
you.
you,
Thank you.
Ron.
See you.
Bye.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye. Okay.
I
So
think
let's get back to our discussion.
Yeah, I think that was a really good question that Amira asked.
Yeah.
About do you need to be perfect? Because I think that's that one thing that non-natives think that they have to speak perfect English. But what is perfect English? What English is it? And even David Crystal, who is the king of the kings in British English, will even ask that one question: what English are you teaching? Because you can only teach the English and you do your best to learn English as a non-native. And I have to say that my experience is that the best teachers I've ever met when it came to explaining grammar, knowing English, were non-native teachers. So be proud of that and accept your accent, accept who you are, believe in yourself, and you can do it. I would like to continue, Mo, with some of the other tips that I have for some of the teachers real quick. And that is, if you want to be a real teacherpreneur, you do.
That's number 7. Yeah.
Yeah, that's number 7 is you need to know how to sell yourself. This is true. But you also need to prove that you can create courses, that you know how to create a course. You know how a course is put together, and you know how to format a course. So that's the next tip right there, because that's a question that will come up in a job interview. If you're, if you're looking for a job as a teacherpreneur, is can you put a course together for us? And you're going to have to show that you have that skill. So you do need to know how courses are put together and how to format a course. The next tip I have for you is you should bring to the table your skills or ability to work in different work contexts. In other words, can you work with teenagers? Can you also work with young adults, university students? Can you work in a corporate environment? And that's what I mean by knowing how to work in different work contexts. That is a skill that you learn over experience, and you just got to take some risks, go out there and try to get those kind of jobs, because it's a wonderful learning experience for you to develop yourself as a teacherpreneur. The next tip I have is your tech savviness, your technical knowledge. You need to have that, okay? You need to know how to work online. You know how Zoom works, how learning management systems work, how maybe Microsoft works. How are you going to deliver that class if it's online? You need some technical knowledge, and that's a question that will come up. Now, I'm giving you all of these tips from me being an owner of 5 language schools, and the questions that I would ask teachers who come apply for a job to work for me. What do I expect out of them? The next tip that I have is, do you know how to assess a class? What do you know about assessment? This is really important. And the next tip I have is, do you know how to do a needs analysis? Because this is really important, if you're going to be working as a teacherpreneur, what is a needs analysis and how do you do one? And the last thing I need to say is you need to know where to sell yourself. Mahmoud said that already. You've got to concentrate on your target group. Who is the target group? Who do you want to target as your customers? Do you just want to work on social media, being a content creator and getting paid for that? Do you want to just create lesson plans? Or do you really just want to teach? You need to know what that niche is. Where do you really want to work? Are you able to work in one way or another way or another way? With me, I write lesson plans and I put them on the internet. I get paid for that. And I have a consultancy. I get paid for that. I teach at the university. I get paid for that. I teach in companies. I get paid for that. So you got to learn how to work in different learning contexts, and you need to know where to sell yourself. Well, Mo, those are some of the tips.
Ron, yeah, I'd like to add something, regarding Amira's question, because you're a native speaker. I'm not a native speaker, but we teach each other. We both are learning from each other every day.
Of course, we learn from each other. I've learned a lot from you.
Yeah, what we're doing now is a very good learning experience for all of us. So again, it's not about perfection. You can seek for perfection, but you cannot.
You'll never reach it. You'll never
reach it. Yeah, it might be a very big dream, okay, that might be pushing you forward, always forward, but you will never be perfect. We're not perfect. We're still working every day, working hard, trying to achieve some of our little dreams, trying to grow our businesses.
Thank you, Mo, for saying that. You got to have dreams. You have to have dreams. That's a motivator. It's going to keep you motivated. What are your dreams? What do you want to reach? Definitely higher levels. You want to grow, you want to develop. And I think that's important, that you always got to keep that in mind, because, being, a freelance teacher or, an independent agent or owning your own school, let me tell you, not every day's happy. There's problems that come, and every day's not going to be happy. But if you always keep your eye on the dream, focus on what you really want to reach, that's going to keep you motivated on the down days, because you're going to have down days, okay? Not everything's going to be happy and every day's going to be sunny, and that's just not reality, okay? Reality is that you'll have up days and you'll have down days, and you got to keep something, and I have to just say there, in the down days, it's also nice to know you have friends and family who still love you. That also keeps me motivated as well.
Exactly.
And as with all of our webinars, I will write a post about this on social media, which you will see, because this would just summarize what we talked about today. I want to thank you, Mo, for letting me be the moderator today, and also for Educast for sponsoring these webinars. Because, it's about learning. It's about getting together, being with colleagues. And, we learn from each other. And I've done a lot of learning from you, okay? And so, it's really funny when people say, well, yeah, but everybody here knows, you're a teacher and you're teaching me too. So, we learn from each other, and we have to support each other as colleagues. And I think the theme for today's was really a great theme, because we need to know, what do we need to do to improve ourselves, to self-develop, to become a successful and effective teacherpreneur. So again, I'll write a post about it on social media. And I want to thank everybody here. I hope you're all having a wonderful Ramadan. And I always stay up real late. So I save my snack till after the webinar. Today, I'm going to be eating a fruit snack of dried figs baked with dates. Okay. So anyway, again, thank you everyone for coming to the Educast webinar today about teacherpreneurship. Look forward to seeing you at the next one, and keep your eyes on social media if you follow me, where I will do a write-up about our webinar today. Good night, everyone.
Exactly. So good night, everyone. And before you go, let me remind you that this event is sponsored by Syntax Solutions, Text Inspector, Delta Bookstore, and Fluent Ties. So again, thanks everyone for joining us, and see you on the 12th of April. So today is Sunday. No, today is Monday, right? So see you on Wednesday. We have two webinars. We have the first webinar at 8:30 Cairo time, 8:30 p.m. And we also have another webinar at 9:30 p.m. So it will be a long night, I know, but I'm sure that it will be really beneficial as always. Thanks everyone for joining us. And please feel free to join us and visit our YouTube channel to watch the recordings of these webinars. Thanks again, and see you in another webinar. Goodbye.